Just a quick one before we dive in. I've just opened up 2 brand new ways to work with me. If you're an established beauty professional who's ready to increase your revenue, either in your clinic or by moving into the online mentoring and educational space, you can join me for a 2-month container where we build and validate your first online offer or your next big move. Or if you're ready to go all in, there is a 7-month private mentorship where we build, launch and scale your new revenue stream together. If you're not sure which one's right for you, I'm offering a handful of free business clarity calls, quick and powerful to map out your fastest path and to see which container fits best. Just DM me the word revenue on Instagram or check the link in the show notes and email me. Let's get into the episode.
Welcome to the Beauty Build podcast with me, Zara King. As a coach for beauty pros, it is my mission to help you earn more, work less, and create an unstoppable mindset. This is the show where we explore all of that. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting your beauty business, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and join us on the journey. And for more, get yourself inside my private community, The Beauty Build on Facebook. Hello, my loves, and welcome back to another episode. Thank you so much again for being here. I hope you love this podcast as much as I love recording every single episode, whether it is just me on my own or whether it is with me interviewing a guest speaker. I absolutely love everything about doing this podcast, and the feedback that I get from people is insane. So thank you so much. If you do enjoy this episode, please take a screenshot, pop it on your stories on your socials and tag me, because I love to see who's listening. I love to get your feedback, and it's just great for me so that I know how to improve the podcast for you. Today, what I want to talk to you about is a sort of carry on from last week's episode. Last week I was talking all about planting seeds and continuously planting seeds with the hope that obviously they grow into big gigantic trees. Now, when you plant these seeds consistently and you spread your seeds, you are going to grow your beauty business. But a lot of the time I understand that it can feel really hard to keep going, to keep planting seeds when it is going to take, or when it does take a year to see the result, right? Or when it does take longer than a couple of weeks or a month. I get that. I know that it doesn't feel easy. And I also know that when something big happens in our businesses that sets us back a little bit, or when something we do feels like we completely failed at it, or we just didn't get any results from it, I know that that can be really hard. But the reason I want to touch on it is because it is inevitable for things to take some time. It is inevitable for failure to occur, if you want to call it failure, or things that didn't work, shall we say, or didn't appear to work at first or ever. There are things that will happen in your beauty business that will knock your confidence and set you back a little bit. And I always have a different amount of beauty pros in my inbox all the time asking me different questions, and it can be about anything. I get people asking me things about clients or about social media and about marketing, about the finance side of things, about the boundary side of things, about how to make the most out of each sort of experience with their clients, how to earn more money, how to upsell, how to do different things with systems, how to automate. I get people that ask me things all the time. Then there are people that are in like a home-based beauty business setting or a salon setting, or they're mobile, or they're renting, I get it all. And the thing that you all have in common is the fact that when a challenge happens, it's difficult to bounce back. And some of you bounce back better than others, but the challenge is always there, and you have to actively bounce back, because if you don't, these type of things that set us back, they stop us. And they might stop you for just a little while, like a week or 2 or a little bit longer. And if you're not great at kind of like dealing with setbacks, inevitable setbacks, then you are going to find it difficult. You are going to struggle to feel like a success, like to feel like you're going somewhere, to feel like your business is growing. And the thing is, right, I keep saying it's inevitable, it really is. You're in an industry where the clients can dictate to your mood, right? They can dictate to us. And the thing is, the reason I say that is because obviously clients, they can mess us around if we let it, okay? And there are other episodes on this podcast about setting boundaries, having policies in place to help you avoid things like that. But clients can cancel, they can drop off as well. And that's a big one, actually, when I have somebody in my inbox or somebody in my coaching program telling me, I've had a few clients and they've dropped off, or I got to a point where I was sort of fully booked for a couple of weeks, but now a few have dropped off. It happens, and it's inevitable. It's going to happen. Or when somebody does quibble on price. You know, people might reach out for a price list and then you tell them your prices, they might ghost you. That can feel like a massive failure for so many of you beauty pros. It felt like it for me as well. Every time I went for a stage where somebody would ask me for my price list on social media, and I used to be like, I really don't want to give it to you, because I want to tell you that it's like so much more valuable than just giving you a price list and letting you make your own decisions. There's a key there that you shouldn't just give price lists, okay? But that's another thing that can set you back, because then you think like, oh, am I too expensive? Are my services good enough? Am I worth it? Why don't people get the value? Like, why don't they see it? There's another episode on this podcast about value perception. I think you should have a listen to that if you worry about things like that as well, because that's a big deal. But they might just say thanks, but no thanks. And then, you might feel like you're back to square one. And that can happen a lot, especially if you're new in the industry and you haven't built up a solid client base just yet. There's other things. There's loads of things, Sometimes you might train in a new treatment and you might put all your time and effort into it. You might put it on your menu. No one books it. No one wants it. And I mean, we could unpick that. I could sit here all day and unpick that. Is it your issue because you didn't know what your client wanted? As in your current client base, you didn't really know that they didn't want that. So therefore you've made kind of a bit of an error in the pivot in the business. Is it something that you did think they wanted? They told you they wanted it and now they're just not booking it. Maybe you're not portraying the value of it properly in your marketing. Maybe you're not, whatever. We can unpick that for a while. But there's so many things. There are other issues as well that maybe clients don't dictate to us, but maybe it's to do with the premises that we're in. Maybe our landlord tells us that we have to leave, or something happens and we have to leave, or just it doesn't work out, And at times, things in life, they don't work out. And in life and business, these things happen. It's all inevitable. And that's my point. I wanted to give you a few examples. But a lot of the time I have, beauty pros asking me, is this normal? And I'm like, you know what? Yes, it is. People will always surprise you. It could be that, you've got fully booked with a couple of clients, or you've been booked out for a couple of weeks and you've met some new clients and you're like, well, I'm sure I'm doing things right. Even if you think you're doing things right and you are working on your business, you're progressively trying to increase loyalty, or you're really trying to work on your ideal client marketing and attraction and all of that, people are always going to surprise you when they're sitting in your chair, or even prior to when they come to see you. People will always surprise you in this industry. And so if you're questioning yourself and you're thinking, goodness me, I'm dealing with this, is this normal? And it feels like a bit of a setback. It feels like, I don't really know what I'm doing with that. What's the best course of action? It is normal. It is probably normal, okay? There's just so many things in this industry and in this world that will probably keep on surprising you. And things can feel like a setback. But the thing is, what's important here is your mindset around it, okay? And that is the difference between having success and feeling successful, because let's not forget that success is completely different to each and every one of us. Success to me is probably not what success is to you. But that's the difference. Your mindset is the difference. It's what sets you apart from feeling successful or sort of staying stagnant and feeling like you're not growing. It is your mindset. I've said it before and I'll say it again. When my clients say to me, my business has changed, it's grown, I've got X amount of clients, I'm fully booked, I've got a wait list as long as my arm, I'm doubling my income, and I ask them what changed. Obviously they got some strategy, don't get me wrong, but it's the way they implemented that strategy with a mindset that supported everything that they were doing. The mindset is the key thing that helped them change, because they see obstacles or these little setbacks or these little inconveniences where these clients can be awkward, or this happens or that happens, or people drop off, or there's a cancellation, all these little bits that I mentioned, right? They see those things as obstacles, of course, or, failures, if you want to call them that, but they see them as a stepping stone. They see them for what they are. They see them for another learning curve. They see them for an opportunity to grow. That is the difference between somebody that feels more successful than somebody who doesn't. It's the way they see things. It's the mindset. And the problem is, obviously, if you're in a negative mindset, when these things happen and you let yourself dwell on it, you're going to get more of what you don't want. If you are focused on the problem as in, let's just say that you need to start looking for a new premises, you've been given a month's notice, and you dwell on the fact that you have nowhere to go, you unfortunately are going to be projecting negative energy, and you're going to receive the same negative energy back. And you obviously will be thinking things like, why is this happening to me? Or these bad things, why do they keep happening to me? They keep happening. They always happen. You can just imagine it, can't you? All of these things that you might be saying to yourself in a bad scenario, in a sort of, setback scenario or challenge. And, you think about the thing and you think, well, I don't want this to be an issue. Of course, you don't want it to be an issue. You want it to go away. You want the issue to go away. But the problem is, when you're putting out an energy, and I always say I believe in the law of attraction and the universe and things like that, whether you believe in God or a higher power or the universe, whatever you want to call it, I believe that you do get back what you put out. So, that thing, the universe, shall we say, doesn't care about whether you want it or you don't want it. What it cares about is the fact that you're in that energy, so you're going to get more of it. So you have to really look at what energy you are in. So talking about how you can actually move forward and see these opportunities as things to grow from, right? See these obstacles as things to grow from. It is your responsibility at the end of the day to stay in a positive mindset and energy, and take accountability at the end of the day for the fact that this has happened to you, but you're the one that can control the outcomes. You're the one that can control your reality. Your actual external reality starts from within. It's from how you feel within. So it's always a reflection thing, right? So I've got a few points here about, what you can do and sort of like what questions you can ask yourself in the scenario that, say something's happened, something bad's happened, it's a challenge, it's an obstacle, whatever, and it's set you back. And it could potentially be one of those things that could potentially take you off track, stop you with your consistency, stop you from feeling like, believing that if you keep planting these little seeds, they're going to grow, right? Because we don't want that. We want to be able to have a belief in us that we are doing the right thing, that we are going to get to where we want to be, and that our efforts are worth it. That's what we need to believe, to keep going, to have the confidence, to trust ourselves with our decision making. We need that. So the first question you can ask yourself, okay, what the heck happened? What actually happened? What's the scenario that's gone on here? We need to actually figure it out, break it down. What really happened? Okay, because on the surface it might look like one thing, but deep down it could be something else. And there could be actual this happened and then this happened. It could have knock-on effects. It could have been stemmed from something else. So think about the actual thing, what's gone on. And I mean, I speak to beauty pros that have all different elements of their business, so it could be so different for any which one of you. Second thing to ask yourself is, well, what parts of this process were actually in my control? What parts of this breakdown that's happened could I actually physically change? Because don't forget that you cannot change things that you don't control, right? And if you can't control it, don't worry about it. That is the motto. You can't be spending your time worrying about things that aren't in your control. You can only worry about and concern yourself with the things that are in your control. Number 3, what would I do differently? So what should I have done differently? What would I do differently if this happened again? What could I have done differently, basically? What would have bettered the situation? And then that leads you on to looking at things like, okay, if it happens again, how do I want to deal with it? How do I want to feel about it instead next time? Because right now, the way you're feeling is probably not great, because you're not happy with the situation that's at hand. The next thing is, well, what are the key lessons that I've learned from this? And then the next thing is, well, where have I grown from this? Because what you'll see there, what I've done is within those sort of 6 questions that you need to ask yourself, you're transitioning. It's like a journaling process. You're transitioning through the experience from a negative energy to a positive energy. So at the end of it, you're like, where have I grown? That's positive, because you're taking that step to realizing this was an opportunity for growth. I've learned something here and I have grown. There's been some sort of growth. There must have been, because I'm dealing with this in the best way possible. And when you do that, you'll often be really surprised at how quickly your mindset shifts around the issue and at how quickly you actually bounce back. This is the type of thing that I talk about when I say, because I've practiced this mindset stuff for so long, or this personal development, whatever you want to call it, for so long, when things happen that set me off track, because like I said in the last episode, I'm terrible at wanting things right now. I'm terrible at going off track and losing my patience and being like, well, that didn't work and I'm a bit bored now, so I want something else. Because I'm terrible at things like that, I have to work on this even more. So I'm getting good at it now, or I have been. I probably have been really good at it, I would say, for the last 7 years. because things turn around when you focus inwards, and when you focus on what you can control, when you do all the bits that I've mentioned, things do change quite quickly. And that's the thing, that's the key here. It's how quickly can you bounce back? Because like I said at the beginning of the episode, the thing is going to happen. The failure, which isn't really a failure to be honest, but the challenge, the obstacle, the thing, of course it's going to happen. You're a beauty business owner. Everything that's out of your control is going to happen. And you have to focus on the small little things that you can control around it. But these things are going to happen. It is inevitable. But so then what do you do, obviously? You know that you can work through it. You then improve parts of your business so that when these things happen, like I said, because they will, but hopefully they'll happen less, but we're not here to say that life doesn't happen and people aren't people. We are, we're human. People are going to continue to do what they do. But you're going to deal with it better and you're going to stress about it less. It's going to affect your sort of physical health, your mental health is going to affect everything less, which is great. That is exactly what you want to be able to do. You want to be able to sort of bounce back better each time this happens, and what it really is, if something big does happen, let's be honest, because there could be a time where, you have lost a lot of income or you lose all your clients or if there is bigger premises issues and things like that, or the business entirely, there's sort of all things that can happen that are bigger. Comes down to your resilience, doesn't it? And how determined you are to really do this, how determined you are to stay in the game and make this work. But if you want it bad enough, you'll make it work. And, if you don't, or if things don't happen in the order that you would like them to have happened, or if they don't happen in the order that you had planned, then I am a real firm believer of everything happening for a reason. And I said that in the last episode, i.e. you are in the right place at the right time. So wherever you are in your business right now, you're supposed to be there. You are 100% in the right place because you have grown to the level of, whatever you're at now in order to be able to hold the space for what you do now in your business. You might just have a few more lessons to learn. You might just have a few more steps to take to grow into that next level, that sort of next version of yourself, and if you do have the confidence to get up and to keep doing what you do and to keep setting new goals and to keep asking yourself, well, what can I control in this scenario? If you keep doing that and if you keep putting plans into action, and also don't forget, if you actually are breaking things down and you realize you need some help with a few certain things, if you are able to work on that and control what you can control, get the help if you need it, then you're going to get to where you need to be. And you have to have full confidence in this, in yourself and the fact that you will get to where you want to be, but you need to believe it. You're not going to get there until you believe it. And these setbacks and things that happen, if you go through that process, like I've told you, super simple process, but if you go through things like that, it's going to help you far more than sitting, dwelling, not believing, letting things affect you, letting things affect your confidence. And to increase that confidence, what do we need to do? We need to practice. We need to do the things that get us outside of our comfort zones. We need to do things that we're a little bit scared to do. We need to deal with these situations head on. We need to trust ourselves. We need to, and I think most importantly, you need to move forward with your business hat on and not your kind of emotional hat on. That's one of the biggest things I can say is remove yourself from the emotion. This is business. It's not personal. So if one of those things has happened and it's quite an external circumstance, then and I mean by as in you've not gotten really ill and you can no longer work, that would be not an external circumstance. That's happening with you and within you and to you. But if you've got things going on externally and business related things going on, or your landlord or your clients or any other setbacks and obstacles and things that come up in this beauty world, keep that business hat on, because it's the business hat that needs to deal with it, not the emotional hat. I know it's hard because of course we're emotionally invested in what we do for a living, and it affects our livelihood, it affects everything around us, so of course it's hard. But if you can maintain and manage your mindset and the confidence levels that you have, and have active kind of steps and tools that you use to break things down properly and to sort of remove that emotion a little bit so that you can keep going, then you're going to feel so much better about it every time you do. And you can use that tool that I said, where you ask yourself these questions, you transition yourself out of it, and you almost use a bit of a journaling tool to go from A to B to get to where you want to be. And then what happens is you'll see those failures aren't really failures. They're only going to be failures if you quit. I mean, you've probably heard that before, that the only time you fail is when you quit. Because if you feel like something failed and you've learned from it, and you enjoyed the journey, and then you picked up at the bottom of it and you kept going, right, then you've enjoyed that journey and you've grown from it. So I do seriously encourage you to get going with things like those questions, and don't just do it when something happens. Like, don't do it when something icky happens or something bad happens. Do this type of thing all the time, because it will help you even more when things that you don't love happen. If you're constantly doing this about setting goals, if you're doing this type of thing and asking yourself how you want to take control and how you want to move forward, and asking yourself what you can control in certain scenarios and keep going and pushing and setting goals and all the rest of it, you're going to have way more of a better idea of how to do it when it does feel hard, if you do it when you feel good. You know, it's like, I think we always ask for help when we are down, but we forget to kind of say thanks when we're up. That's what I'm trying to say. So I encourage you to get into it and ask yourself those questions when something happens, but also when something isn't happening as such, and you're just trying to transition yourself from maybe one feeling to another, and you're trying to find some growth phases in the business. So keep doing that. And it's a life and business thing. It's not just business, is it? We're all human, and we all go through these things where we feel a little bit set back. So, you know, you've got this. And don't forget as well, if you need help with growing your beauty business, check out the description. One of my courses right now, the 5 Ideal Clients in 5 Weeks program, is on an offer of 90% off. You can grab that, and that will really help you build your clientele, build out your business, and get to the success levels that you want to get to. And if you've got any questions about that, or about coaching with me, anything else, then my DMs are always open. I'm always here to help you grow your beauty business. I really hope you've enjoyed this episode as much as I have loved talking about everything. If you need me, you know where I am. But for now, I will see you on the next one. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained valuable insights that will help you in your beauty business and life. If you did, please take a screenshot and tag me in your stories. If you've got any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to me on any of my socials. The links are always in the descriptions. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you more and more great content. Until next time, keep building that business.